What's up, enthusiasts? It's your boy Rob, back with another video. Guys, thank you for bearing with me. I've been gone for about a week now. I had some dental work done and I'm still in that process. So guys, if you hear me struggling with a few things, just know that I've got dental work going on right now and I'm doing my best to kind of work through this to make sure I get videos out for you guys. So today is the perfect day to be coming back. Now, I don't know if you guys know the channel, Always Bored, Never Bored. Really good YouTuber. I've been watching his content for some time now, but he just released a video covering the teaser images or teaser enemies that Avalon has released, Avalon Hill that is, has released just yesterday, matter of fact. There was a poll. Actually, you know what? I'll let him tell you guys about it. You get my reaction. You guys leave comments and leave likes. So let's get into it. I wonder how many times.
Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. On June the 29th, Avalon Hill posted in the news and updates section on Discord that they were planning to tease some more information about one of the new enemy types from the forthcoming HeroQuest expansion, Rise of the Dreadmoon. They were asked...
Now, I had no idea they were doing this poll, and I wish I would have known because I damn sure would have given my vote. If you guys got a chance to vote, let me know who you voted for.
For people to vote on whether they would prefer to see information regarding the assassins or the Magus Guards. It was a close vote, I suspect mainly because some people were trying to level out the votes in the hope Avalon Hill would reveal information on both enemy types, but the eventual winner was the Magus Guard. I was happy enough with that because the Magus Guard are big burly sorts in armour, and I was interested to see if they would be significantly different to the Dread Warriors. So, true to their word, Avalon Hill dutifully shared the goods. Sort of.
You know, I think this is a really good marketing strategy from Avalon Hill to just bring the consumers in, the fan base in, giving them some say in what is being presented or marketed. You know, these teasers, it's brilliant idea. So whoever thought of that over at Avalon Hills, props to you guys. Now let's get back to this.
They shared 2 pictures. Would have liked a bit more, but that's what we've got, and that's what we're going to look at today. But first, if you...
Now, 2 pictures, I mean, he says 2 pictures. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, come on, it's something. It's more than 1 picture, so.
Cool. We have already seen teasers for the Spectres that come in this expansion.
Yeah.
You get 3 Spectres, and they are some of the more interesting...
Now, I do like the models. I've seen the images of the models. I'm pretty sure we all have. And the models are good. The card art for the Spectres, I'm not too thrilled about, but it is what it is. So,
enemies we have met so far. They have a movement of 8, attack with 3 dice, defend with 3 dice, have 1 body point and 0 mind points. They have the keywords undead and ethereal, and we know that being ethereal allows them to phase through walls, heroes, and other solid objects.
Which that's just a great ability to have, I think, if you are the Zargon player or if you're just using the app or whichever one. It's going to make the game even more dynamic because you're going to not get the bottleneck effect that we are all too familiar with HeroQuest. So just going through these walls, going through characters is big as well. So.
This makes them incredibly mobile and allows them to get through pretty much any barricade the heroes throw at them. I'm pretty sure that also means they will avoid the effects of the Caltrops, a new weapon for this expansion that I talked about in my previous Rise of the Dreadmoon video, which lets players place tokens on the board that hinders monster movement. I am sure the ethereal keyword will be explained.
Not a big fan of that. I mean, from a gameplay point of view, I feel like it's out of place to be able to, I guess, block the enemies, but maybe that's just because the halls are already narrow in most situations, and if you're at a doorway, it's just, I feel like that's just bogging the game down even more. So
in more detail in the rules to cover such situations. Furthermore, Spectres have the ability to use the Channel Dread spell, which gives them a chance to drain body points while ignoring a hero's armor class. In other words, the Spectres are pretty interesting and have the most new and varied skills we have seen of any monster to this point. Can the Magus Guard compare?
Let's get to it.
I guess yes and no, really. They aren't exactly pushing the envelope in terms of their design and what they bring to the game, but at least they do have skills posing specific types of threats that will encourage the heroes to approach them in a different way to how they approach something like the Dread Warriors. First of all, we get a better look at the miniatures, and they are really nice. They are elven warriors in full armor with flowing plumes and massive shields. They seem less chunky than
the models are good. I'm digging the models. I'm digging the design of the characters. So that's a good
Warriors,
thing.
But their shields don't look that dissimilar to those carried by the Dread Warriors. Almost like Zargon's most elite units could indeed be elven troops corrupted by dread magic. Maybe that's something that might be developed in the future. Anyway,
guys, I am so excited to see where Avalon Hill takes the story of HeroQuest from this point forward. I mean, it's an open plane for them. They can do whatever they want from here. They can introduce a new main villain, which would be actually pretty awesome.
Anyway, you get 2 of these warriors in the expansion, and when I first heard they were called the Magus Guard, my initial thought was they were soldiers in charge of protecting a magic user. However, they are actually, slightly surprisingly, magic users themselves, fully armored mages. Their stats are movement 8, and then attack 4, defend 4, body 3, and mind 3. That puts them slightly above the Dread Warriors, who have exactly the same profile except they only have movement of 7. But what really sets the Magus Guards apart is they each have access to 2 spells, which they can cast once each per quest.
Which is extremely good, again, for the Zargon player, being able to have that extra hand of spells. So if you're definitely playing against a party of 4, full table, just having any additional abilities is always essential.
They have Ball of Flame and Tempest. As a quick reminder, Ball of Flame inflicts 2 body points of damage, then the target rolls 2 red dice and can reduce the damage by 1 for each 5 or 6 rolled. Meanwhile, Tempest causes the target to miss their next turn. There is no defense roll against that. Now, neither of the...
Tempest is the far better card there. I know people will say, no, if you can deal some damage, that's a lot better. But if you can use Tempest and then to have a player skip their turn, you may be able to position up on that character and deal just as much damage, depending on what you have around. So it could be situational, but again, I prefer Tempest.
Those spells are new, but what is new is that for Rise of the Dreadmoon, we are seeing regular enemies with the ability to cast spells. The Magus Guard have 2 spells they can cast once each, while the Spectres have the Channel Dread spell they can cast as often as they like. And of course, we also know the expansion has cultists, who I assume are also going to have magical powers, including the Channel Dread spell. Previously, spells were pretty much reserved for boss enemies, but regular troops with access to spells makes magic a much more dangerous proposition. These spells are bypassing the armor that seasoned veterans will be equipped with by this stage, and tactics such as sticking your meat shield in the doorway and soaking all incoming attacks are far less viable.
Which is still the best strategy. We all know that. If you've played HeroQuest, you know the best strategy is jamming that doorway up and having the enemies just kind of sit there and take their beating, and then have your guys, switch in and out. It's kind of a underhanded way to play, but I mean, hey, when you got to get the quest completed, you got to do what you got to do.
So this isn't really a change in the rules of the game or how it plays, it isn't adding a lot of new complications and special abilities, but it is going to cause something of a shift in how heroes are approaching each new dungeon. Is it going to be enough though? Which
is exactly what the game needs. You guys already know, I think what the next thing Avalon Hill should introduce to HeroQuest should be a new board. I know that the original board is near and dear to all of our hearts, but I think we're kind of reaching that point where we need a change to the decor. So,
one of the joys of HeroQuest is it knows what it is. At its heart, it's a straightforward dungeon plunge. It has no pretensions, and it doesn't feel the need to fold in layers of rules to simulate a multitude of situations. That's not to say you can't do great things with the HeroQuest rule set. With a bit of patience and some skillful writing, it is possible to craft intricate quests with unfolding narratives that feel like a real adventure for the heroes to get lost in.
Now, this is kind of off subject, guys. kind of. But would you guys want to see like them take do a reskin of HeroQuest, do like a sci-fi version of it, do like a Call of Cthulhu version. Call of Cthulhu version, I would pay some good money for that. So, guys, share this video. Hopefully Avalon Hill hears it. That's my idea, guys. That's my idea. Yeah, great idea.
Introduce win-lose conditions with knock-on effects, branching story paths, recurring characters, and more. And it's relatively easy to do because HeroQuest is such a simple game. Personally, I don't want to see HeroQuest becoming something other. I don't want Avalon Hill to start adding lots of complicated new elements to juggle. That really isn't what this game is all about, and I would hate for HeroQuest to lose the sense of what it really is.
Yeah, we don't want to see HeroQuest get crunchy. I can't stand crunchy games, especially with this being more for my family. This is like more of a family game for us. When friends and I, whenever the friends get together, we're not playing a lot of HeroQuest. We may do a quest here, maybe go a few months and then another quest there, because this is more of a beer and pretzel kind of game. And so, guys, we don't necessarily need anything that's like extremely tactical with crunch and convoluted rules that we have to go back to the rule book every 5 minutes to figure out how to play it out.
But at the same time, I do want Avalon Hill to embrace the creative challenge of expanding the HeroQuest experience. The Spectres feel like they are rising to that challenge. I can't say the same thing about what amounts to Dread Warriors with a couple of spells. To be clear, as I said before, the Magus Guards having magic is a big deal. Enemies that can bypass armor, attack at range, navigate choke points, and separate a group of heroes into more manageable bite-sized pieces is fantastic. It is certainly time we had new types of combats in our cramped dungeons. But at this stage, as Avalon Hill shake off the shackles of the past and start forging entirely new expansions, I would like to see just a little more. I mean, why give the Magus Guard Ball of Flame and Tempest? What is it about those pretty generic combat spells that feeds into the narrative of these elven warriors?
So, I think Avalon Hill will ease their way into it. I know that they've got to be thinking, if we try to make too drastic of a change, the fans will lash out and we're going to hear it. So I think they're really treading carefully on what they release and how they release it, and what changes they make to the game.
That have aligned themselves with Zargon. Why are they even using dread spells? Do you instantly lose your elven magic as soon as you bend the knee? Why couldn't they be using elven combat techniques? After all, I bet there aren't many people who own Major the Mirror who are still running their elf with elemental magic now they have access to the awesome elf spells. And if these soldiers are armed and armoured for melee combat, why aren't their spells focused around that style of combat? Why haven't they got the ability to imbue their swords with magical energy, shrug off powerful attacks?
That's actually a valid question.
Buff their defense, teleport into close combat, manipulate time allowing multiple attacks. I'm not asking for a lot, but I just think a brand new type of elven fighter mage has the narrative wiggle room to create something that feels a bit more lived in and real. Something with character and history.
Yeah,
something more than what if knights but fireballs. And I don't want this to come across as negative. I am still just as excited.
It's still coming across as negative. No, I'm joking. Guys, it's all valid questions. We want to see more HeroQuest, obviously. We don't want them to stray too far away from the original game, but we do want to see new things. I understand that. I understand that completely. And I know there's got to be a thought in the back of Avalon's head saying, usually with expansions, you start seeing a decline in sales. Until you do like a standalone, and then that's kind of will bring new players, and then your original players will usually come back for that standalone expansion, depending on how much new content they're getting inside of it. So guys, this is really good for us. I'm excited.
Expansion, and of course there is so much we still haven't seen. The quest could weave a fascinating story. There could be lots of new traps and set pieces to challenge the heroes. The promise is there.
Guys, I honestly, and this is going to sound negative, I don't see them really doing anything too interesting with the story quest I think it's going to be, they're going to be cool, a little bit of fluff and stuff like that, a little bit of flavor. I understand, but I think for the most part, we're just going to get some more generic quests. Nothing that really stands out. You know, unfortunately, I think that may be their weakest suit. I think they're going to need to bring in some writers. And I know what you guys could be saying, you know, hey, this is going to be their first one where they're starting, you know, they're drafting the story from scratch. So maybe I should hold off on that. Yeah.
And if the expansion doesn't live up to that promise, this is still a first step. The first tentative step out of the shadow of all the HeroQuest adventures that came before. It doesn't hurt to take...
They've got to knock it out of the park. I do not agree with him here. Avalon Hill needs to knock this one out of the park, because if it's trash, if this expansion is trash, which I already know it's not going to be, but if it is trash by some small chance, it will totally disrupt the ecosystem. You're probably going to have people say, yeah, this is another $44, $45, whatever it is I spent on another expansion. I'm just going to play the stuff I already have moving forward. Because, again, HeroQuest is a simplistic game, wonderful game, but there's just so many other systems out there that can do what HeroQuest does and almost better. So a lot of HeroQuest nostalgia is attached to it with the sales. And that's what they're playing off of. And so moving into this uncharted territory will definitely make or break HeroQuest.
Things steady, to nudge the edges of the envelope before giving it a good hard push. I hope for really exciting things for the future, and I am still very much looking forward to receiving Rise of the Dreadmoon. And yes, I am looking forward to teaching some Magus Guards they should have remained loyal. But let me know your thoughts, because that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully
all right, guys, so that's the video. Go ahead and show them some love. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, Table Salt. And, guys, if you have not had a chance to pick up any of the games that I've written, please do. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure entertaining you. I look forward to making more videos on a consistent basis. And, guys, I'll see you again tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, another video. We'll do it all over again.